Hey everyone, so I planned on posting daily again, but of course when I finally thought like everything was gonna go right, I got really sick. I assume you guys can hear it because I mean I hear it myself when I talk. I've been sick for a few days now. I did manage to play some games on the last day before seasonal qualifier cutoff. Also, I got asked to play Pantheon Yuumi, and that's one of my favorite decks and obviously one of the top decks of the meta right now. And so since I needed to climb to make the top 700 of Masters, it worked out well. So the main champion of the deck is Pantheon. He's only a 4-mana 3/2, but he comes down with Overwhelm, Barrier for 1 turn, and the Fated keyword. And so Fated means that each round, the first time an allied card targets it, you grant it +1/+1. And so although his stats are pretty low as 3/2, he ends up getting pretty big pretty fast. And then once you've targeted allies in 5 different rounds, he levels up. And then you're granted a random keyword for each round you've targeted allies this game, which is usually just 5, but can sometimes get pretty crazy if you find him late into the game. Also, one thing to keep in mind is that you can actually trigger Fated again after he levels up. So if you're at 4 out of 5, and you trigger Fated to give him the 5th proc and level him up, his Fated will actually be able to be activated again. And so because he's going to get all these free stats, and he already has Overwhelm, he's going to be good like regardless of what bonus keywords you get. But obviously you're looking for things like Spell Shield, Elusive, and Scout really helps a lot, so you can attack twice obviously. The next champion would be Yuumi. So Yuumi has this attached keyword, so you play it on an ally to give it the stats and keywords while it's attached. And then when the unit you play this on actually like leaves the field, unless it's obliterated I think, then Yuumi will go back to your hand so you can reuse her again. And so as soon as you play it onto something, it's going to get the +2/+2 stats. But because you have the target onto something, it actually triggers Fated, which is why it's really good in this deck with Pantheon. And the effect is that on the round start, you start getting +1/+1, and so it just really helps your units get really big. And then once the Yuumi, or usually the unit Yuumi's attached to, has attacked 3+ times, then she levels up. And so once you level up, you immediately get Spell Shield onto that unit, and then what's cool is that you actually get Spell Shield every single round. And so it can be really annoying to get rid of the unit this is on once you have a Spell Shield every single round. And so yeah, this deck is obviously revolves around Pantheon and the Fated keyword, and so we're going to want to run the other units that have Fated, which are the Saga Seeker and the Wounded Whiteflame. Wounded Whiteflame is a little bit better because it also has Fury, and Fury is a pretty good keyword for allowing you to get even bigger faster. And the other units we run that are not going to be your main targets to buff up, but they're going to help you buff those other targets, will be Brightsteel Protector. It's a good early drop, and because it lets you target an ally, it triggers Fated, and it's really good defensively, and it's a really good card. Then we run Mountain Goat. It doesn't actually buff up anything itself, but whenever it strikes, you create a gem in hand, and gems are 1-mana focus speed spells that give an ally +1 attack and heals it by 1. And so these gems are really good for triggering Fated for very cheap. And the rest of the deck basically is just spells. So 1 of Chain Vest grants an ally tough. I actually really like Chain Vest. I kind of wish this could be at a 2, but I don't really know what to cut for it. But I think Chain Vest can really help early. And it's also a really good cheap trigger to put on Pantheon, because like I mentioned earlier, if you put a Chain Vest onto Pantheon and he levels up, he won't actually be able to get tough as one of the keywords that he rolls, so you're more likely to get an actual really good keyword. And it's not like the most nuts play, but it is one of my favorite plays to make, is Chain Vest onto Goat, because it's a really cheap trigger to allow you to trigger on turn 2, so you could potentially level up Pantheon on like turn 6. And it can keep your Goat alive to like give you at least 2 more gems to help you really level up your Pantheon so easily. Then we got the Guiding Touch, heals an ally too, which can really help against things like Noxus decks with the Scorched Earth or Phlox, which is a really good buff that can like heal your unit like kind of 3, because it heals it by 2 and then also triggers Fated to give it the extra 3rd health. And it also lets you draw 1, which is very good for Demacia decks in general. And the fact it can be used on your own Nexus to help against like aggro decks is a really good bonus as well. Pale Cascade is really good because it gives an ally +1/+1 to trigger Fated, but also draws 1 if it's not the first card you use that turn. It can be sort of awkward to trigger this early. So for example, if all you have to do to buff a unit on 2 is Pale Cascade, and you have a Saga Seeker in your hand, you potentially want to play Saga Seeker on turn 2, so that it can trigger the Nightfall for Pale Cascade on turn 2. Because if you play Saga Seeker on turn 1, you won't really want to use this on turn 2, because then you won't get the draw, and it's actually a pretty big deal. But it's still a really good card. Again, Demacia decks really need draw, and it's just a buff that triggers Fated. Then we got Sharp Sight. It was nerfed, but I think it's still good enough to be in the deck. Obviously we need cheap buffs, and I don't think we missed the attack that much, since our units are going to be pretty damn big anyways. And being able to block elusives can be a big plus depending on the meta. We gotta have our interaction with like single combats. It's a really good cheap trigger. We're pretty much always going to be taller than our opponent's creatures, especially if you end up buffing the White Flame with Fury. So single combat's always going to be good value. It can even be used with Pantheon when he has his barrier down especially. It's very important to be able to remove things, and Concerted is like in the same category. It allows you to trigger 2 different allies faded with 1 card, so it's pretty good in that way. It obviously allows you to kill bigger things. Then we got Cataclysms. So an ally starts a free attack challenging an enemy. I personally prefer this over Rally. I think it's 1 extra mana, and you most of the time are not going to need to attack with your full board anyways. Usually you only have like 1 unit that's really big that you need to kind of go all in to kill someone with. Like whoever has Yuumi on them, or just your biggest unit at the time in general, like Pantheon. So the benefits of Rally is that they can't fizzle it unless they deny it. And the barrier can be sometimes really useful. Like if you swap this out for the Aegis Rally. And the downsides of Cataclysm would be that it's actually able to be nobified, whereas Rally can't. It can also be fizzled if they kill their own unit that you target this with. But again, the plus side is that it is a bit cheaper. You usually only have 1 target you need to attack with anyways. And it sort of gives you Challenger in a way, right? Because you get to actually pick the unit you're fighting. So you can pick like the weakest one and push like the most amount of damage through. So I prefer Cataclysm, but technically depending on the meta and stuff, might be up for debate whether you just want to run rallies or potentially run Cataclysm and rallies. Zenith Blade, super important for the deck, grants an ally +1/+2 and Overwhelm. And if it's the first card you use that turn, you actually get to draw another one. And so because getting Wounded Whiteflame or the Saga Seeker really big in stats doesn't really do anything if the enemy can just chump block. So you need to have Overwhelm on them obviously. And so it's really important to have Zenith Blade. You can get some damage in before you just rely on Pantheon. Bastion's super good. Again, depending on the meta, you may want to run more of these. I think 1 is fine right now. Grants an ally +1/+1, triggers Faded, and gives it Spell Shield. And like I said earlier in the beginning of the video, if you put this onto Pantheon before he levels up, then once he levels up, he won't be able to roll Spell Shield as one of his 5 keywords. And so you're more likely to get that like Elusive and Scout. And it's also just really good in general. A big problem with Pantheon decks is being fully committed onto like 1 or 2 units. They're very susceptible to like hard removal, like Vengeance or like stuns. And Sebastian's won me a lot of games. And so I wanted to talk about some tech options that you could consider adding to this deck that I don't have in the deck. The first one would be Gift Giver. It doesn't have amazing stats, it's just a 1/2, but it does immediately give you a gem to play. And so if you play on turn 1, you can basically just use the gem on the Gift Giver on turn 2 to make sure you get a trigger on turn 2 for Pantheon. And it can really help you level up Pantheon very fast, as well as being a pretty good card against certain aggro decks. Just having an extra blocker early, because one of the big weaknesses to Pantheon decks are aggro. So if you have even one of these or multiple of these, it can help you stabilize in the early game. So a lot of people act like Crystal Ibex is like a meme card, and I'm sort of like in the middle. I don't really run it, but I think it definitely makes sense to run the deck. When you play it, you grant an ally Overwhelm, so it's permanent. And again, like I mentioned, if you're going to make the Saga Seeker or the Wounded Whiteflame really big, if they don't have Overwhelm, it kind of doesn't really matter what their stats are. They're just going to get chump blocked. So it's a pretty decent sided unit that'll trigger Faded and give one of your units Overwhelm, which they really need. It's kind of like having extra Zenith Blades in the deck. And Zenith Blades, because they draw themselves, are really bad to keep in your mulligan most of the time. So a lot of times you're going to want to kick these away. But if you don't get one at some point, like in the mid game, it can really hurt you not being able to deal any damage. And so I really will consider putting Crystal Ibex into the deck. So I think I mentioned Golden Ages earlier. Basically, it's the choice between rallies or cataclysms, or again, potentially both. And I think I mentioned the disadvantages to each one and the positives of each one. Then we got Blind and Mystic. I actually took these out. But when you play it, you grant an ally +1/+1, and you silence an enemy follower. So depending on the meta, if there's some really powerful followers you need to deal with, like throw a bunch of these in your deck and it's going to help you a lot. I am not a fan of Camphor the Doubt. I think if he had Faded, it would be a nuts card. But without Faded, it just seems really lackluster to me. Pretty expensive at 6 mana. And he only gets Spell Shield, Overwhelm, and Challenger if you've targeted allies in 4 different rounds. Mind you, this is pretty easy, especially by turn 6. But I think like a 6 Overwhelm, Challenger, Spell Shield unit, like that's not that much damage. And yeah, you could maybe buff it with some gems or something. It just seems really like lackluster. I don't really see why you'd ever need this card. If I'm missing something about this card and you know and you could fill me in, maybe leave it in the comments. But yeah, I don't really know why you'd run this card, even though I've been seeing it around a lot. You could also consider Petricite Broadwing. It doesn't allow you to trigger Faded. It is formidable, but your Sharp Sights give you +2 health, and your Zenith Blade gives you +2 health. And Guiding Touch can heal it back up. Chain Vest also makes it kind of annoying. I mean, it's definitely worth considering. If you want to be able to challenge something with 3 health in the meta, like pretty early, and need like some extra removal. Also, it's really good against aggro, because it's a 2-drop with 3 health that a lot of times can trade with like a 2 attack enemy unit and survive to be able to block again. And because Pantheon's weakness is aggro, this might be a really good option to tech in if you want to be better against aggro. I believe the last card I mentioned is this Gifts from Beyond. I don't really see people running this in Pantheon, probably because it's hard to cut cards from the deck right now, but it's definitely worth considering. Just all the moon weapons are just really good. One of them allows you to put Overwhelm onto a unit, so again, if you don't draw your Zenith Blades, you can kind of have like extra of them by having Gifts from Beyond. It's only for one turn, but it can help you put some extra damage down. But probably the best moon weapon in my opinion to put in this deck would be the Lifesteal one. But because Pantheon decks have a small amount of units that get very big and very tall, but you don't end up going wide, and so aggro decks can kind of take advantage of you and shit on you and do a lot of damage to you. If you can put Lifesteal onto like a big unit, preferably with Overwhelm, so you guarantee it even if they further the unit away, if you can heal up like 8+ damage or something, a lot of times burn aggro just auto loses at that point. Because by the time you stabilize, you're usually pretty weak, and they can finish you off with burn. But if you can heal a bunch of life back with the Lifesteal moon weapon, you sort of just like auto win the game versus aggro. So yeah, I don't really see many people running this, and I don't even run it really myself. But depending on the meta, it can really be worth slotting this in, again mainly for the Lifesteal in my opinion. With the extra Overwhelm, or stuns potentially could be worth it. So I guess the last thing to talk about quickly would be your mulligans. People always ask me to go over mulligans in a lot of my videos. It's kind of hard to explain mulligans because they vary from matchup to matchup, and it can also depend on what you currently have in your hand. So like I think I mentioned earlier, if I had a goat and a chain vest, then I might keep them because I know, okay, I can play go on turn 2, I can trigger it right away, that'll get me at least 1 gem, and the chain vest on the goat might actually end up getting me 2 gems off the goat, so that's like 3 triggers already right there with 2 cards. Sometimes I kick my Pantheon because you want to be able to actually trigger early, so if your rest of your hand can't actually get you any triggers, then sometimes I kick my Pantheon looking for earlier cards and just hope that you're a good player and you draw it when you need it. Kind of the same thing with Zenith Blade, is that Zenith Blade you kind of really need it, but if you keep it and you double draw it, it feels really bad since when you play it you'd already draw a copy of it anyways. So double drawing this feels pretty bad, which is usually why you don't want to keep it in your mulligan. So I will say in my experience with this deck, the nuts combo is Saga Seeker on 1, and especially if you're attacking on turn 1, like you're attacking on odds, this is even better, because then on defense you play the Brightsteel Protector, and you bury the Saga Seeker, make it a 2-3, and if you bury your unit on defense, you basically just stun the entire enemy board, because they're not going to want to attack and just trade a unit for free, right? So usually this makes them pass their attack. You Saga Seeker on turn 1, you Brightsteel on 2, so you trigger on turn 2, and you have a barrier unit so they probably don't attack. Then on turn 3 if you can Yuumi, that's perfect. You trigger Fated again, you have a 5-6 down on the board you can usually attack with safely. Usually if there's a way for it to kill my unit, I don't attack, and so not getting the attack and just passing so you get an extra +1/+1 next round, and can guarantee keep it alive is usually, in my opinion, more important than risking your Saga Seeker to die on turn 3. But again, a lot of times it can just survive the attack depending on what deck you're playing against, and you trigger your Yuumi, and so you triggered on 2 and 3, and you've already triggered Yuumi once, and then your turn 4 would probably want to be like a Zenith Blade. If you need to go wider because of the deck you're playing against, maybe drop a Pantheon with a barrier down for defensive value. You also have a big enough unit to just like single combat something if they're going wider than you, to make sure you don't take damage from it. You can also Cataclysm to remove something, and also this counts as an extra attack for Yuumi. So on turn 5 when you attack with your Saga Seeker and Yuumi, it immediately levels up on turn 5, and you immediately get the spell shield. I personally prefer to do this a bit slower and put like Zenith Blade on it, so that when you're getting the Cataclysm value, you're getting it with an Overwhelm unit. But again, if you're removing one of their champions on like turn 4, it can be worth it. But in general, all you're trying to do is keep your units. This deck doesn't run many units, so for the most part, you have to keep them. Unless, again, let's say your hand is like Pantheon, a bunch of spells. Sometimes I'll even kick the Pantheon, because I mean, if I just get a bunch of spells, I'm not going to be able to play only Pantheon my first unit on turn 4. It's not going to be good enough. So sometimes I just mulligan my entire hand, even the Pantheon, look for these early unit combos. If you're against control decks, you can consider keeping Bastion. You only run one of it in the deck, so you're not going to double draw or anything. And at some point, they're going to fucking vengeance you or something. And so it's definitely going to come useful at some point. Yeah, just pretty simple. Just keep almost all your units. Look for the god combo of Saga Seeker, Brightsteel, Yuumi. Sometimes in a matchup where I'd really like stuns, I'll actually keep a Pantheon in my hand, because if I double draw it later, I'll want to use his champion spell with a shield vault where you get to stun something. Like stuns are really good versus Lurk, especially obviously Rek'Sai. Also, I don't really keep Yuumi because double drawing it can feel pretty bad. Her champion spell is not very good. Like the only way I'd probably get greedy and keep it is if I already had like a Saga Seeker and a decent 2-drop like Bright Steel or like some way to trigger him on turn 2. Otherwise I'd be looking for other units because you don't really want to just have a Yuumi like, and no units to play her on. But yeah, I mean, sorry, I feel like this went on longer than I thought it would. Sorry for that. But I just wanted to give as much information as I could. I really like this deck. It's actually kind of sad because I'm seeing more and more people think this deck is actually really cringe. And they really dislike this deck. And I haven't played in so long that I didn't really know that was like the vibe going around. Because I always really liked Pantheon. I always thought it was cool because there's always like some better deck at the time when I used to play months ago. And so I guess over the last patch or two, with everything else being nerfed, Pantheon was just kind of top dog or something, or like definitely one of the top decks. So it kind of makes sense that by now people would start finding it really cringe. But yeah, I mean, I've always just found Pantheon cool as fuck. I think he's really fun. I do kind of understand it. I'm realizing it now because other decks kind of can't really compete. It's really easy once you've played it a bit to just really turbo level your Pantheon. And sometimes if you just hit the right keywords, there's nothing they can really do. I think that can really bother players, like not being able to like stop the enemy Pantheon from killing them. And I definitely get how that could be frustrating for some decks to just see a Pantheon come down and then it just gets the perfect keywords and they can't do anything and they just lose. And it feels like you're getting RNG'd because it is RNG, right? He's getting 5 random keywords. But yeah, I mean, I guess we'll see. I personally still find it a lot of fun. Maybe you guys do too. Yeah, I think that's it for me. I want to thank you guys for watching. If you haven't subscribed yet, I'd really appreciate it if you would subscribe, maybe even like the video. It would really help me out. And as always, if you want to see me play anything in the near future, you can leave a comment below. Or if I left anything out of this video, feel free to ask me. And I hope you guys enjoy it. Thanks. Oh, we got this deck again. Wonder if it's the same guy. I think we keep a lot of like all this. I mean, Pantheon might be a weird keep. Also, we need some spells to actually trigger this thing, so maybe we can get some gems off Mountain Goat if he doesn't Mystic it.
I will die when I am ready.
I think I'm supposed to pass there, just in case like my next card is like Crescent, and at least see if he plays anything. Oh, barrier is nice. Barrier should shut down his whole attack, I think.
It's Draven time. My shield is yours.
And so he has to pass now. Then we can go ahead and put Yuumi onto this thing. My second trigger and start getting Yuumi procs. Then we'll go ahead and put Xenoblade on after.
Hey, kiddo. Dig your kiddo.
Technically, he can like Axe and Mystic. I don't know if they run Flock, but I only want him to be able to Axe and Mystic. I'm tapped out. I do want to attack with Yuumi though. I don't want my units to die. That thing is more important. And I already got the trigger, which is the main thing I think that matters.
Yeah, the wheel of war turns ever onward.
I guess I could just play this onto it. Keep it even safer. And get another one. Yeah, I think I do this. Like I can just trade, I'll just take 2 here, maybe 3. And I still have a 1-drop in case he goes even more wide.
Do this.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure he's not getting over 10 health.
Are you the one?
I'll stop you.
I'm only taking 2, maybe 3. That's fine.
Now we're cooking.
Oh shit. I didn't really expect that, honestly, but I mean I don't die. So it's kind of good that I did all that. If I didn't, I would have died for sure. Draven's leveled. He'll be at 1 health. He's just kind of annoying. I wonder if I'm supposed to play Saga Seeker.
I was always mortal. Onwards.
We can just send this attack in. We gotta trigger this turn. Pantheon levels up next turn. I think I'm down to just go for this. Kinda sucks that actually now he can use axes. But yeah, I think 1 less damage there. We stay at 3, which I feel like is pretty safe. I still have units I can place down.
Peace is a trail painted with blood.
I can also beat like Thermo. I don't think he runs like Thermo or anything. Okay. So I'll play a bunch of units down. The next turn we can play Pantheon into Pale.
He sees the face of fear.
We can like block, only take 2 here. That makes sense. I mean, always just this, right?
Together, stranger.
He has so many axes. No, I'm kind of down for this because like I think what I'd do is like if he goes all into this unit, I think I just play a Yuumi's thing on it. I guess we do this one to give it 1 extra health, right? I think it's kind of a weird risk to take. Yeah, we only have like the guaranteed win. Yeah. That's just a safer play. It's like a guaranteed win at that point. We just play Pantheon as well. Doesn't really matter even if we trigger it next turn pretty much. Ooh, this TF Nami shit I haven't seen in a long time. I remember it used to be pretty scary though, but I'm pretty sure it doesn't beat Pantheon. I mean, keeping Pantheon is kind of greedy here. I like keeping my units in this deck. I think I've been punished too hard by not keeping them in the past.
I will die when I am ready.
I don't really want just more spells. Also, the this Pantheon spell is not even that bad, especially against things like elusives like they're gonna have. If they have some big elusives, I don't run that 4-drop, the Mystic or whatever that silences an enemy follower. So if this deck was more popular, I definitely need to slot those in because it's so broken against like Shelly or something. They pay 5 mana and they get just a 3/3. I don't know if I actually use this on it right now. It feels kind of silly to do that. I just pass. I really like getting a trigger on turn 2. I think it really helps Pantheon in general. But, I mean, banking the 2 is not that bad. So we can go for a Yuumi.
Where'd we end up this time, book?
If you always go Yuumi first. And, oh, we should be fine here to attack, right? Because even if you had like a get excited or something, we wouldn't be able to do anything. It gives us the 4 damage. That's really good. We got trigger on turn 3. We can develop and get a trigger if we want this turn. Depending on what he does here. Also, I'm down to Cataclysm, then have Yuumi leveled up next turn. So the scary thing is that I think you actually do want to kill TF like almost right away. I think I play this first to get the other one for free. I don't think he can level up this turn, right? And now that he committed, now I'm gonna Cataclysm. Yeah, now that he committed to using his other TF, he's not gonna want to attack. Obviously, he's gonna pass. Then I'm gonna Cataclysm. Get the overwhelm damage. He wasted his second TF, and then yeah, And then we level up Yuumi next turn on the attack. We debated him pretty hard. He has so many cards, but like, what could he really even do, right? Another TF would technically stun. I mean, we could look for another buff, I guess, right? We never can kill him anyways, because he just blocks with this. Yeah, I think we just go for, this is fine. Maybe we'll level up.
We're gonna find
Oh, we do get an extra attack, right? From Yuumi. So we do. I'm glad we drew the hush as well. Drew the hush. Drawed. We drew the hush, so we can deal. I think we should guarantee win this game then now. Like, as soon as he committed that second TF, it was kind of just done after that. What if we run Thermos? Probably not, right? You could run Get Excited, but I mean that takes away from my face. That's probably fine. I play this. You can develop a Zenith Blade on next turn. And because of the hush, I feel safe. Oh, you can play Nami, huh? Get sort of a Get Excited, but that might have been the fleeting one. Okay. Honestly, if he plays Nami, don't I just hush that right away? Then he can't get any buffs onto these things.
I won't let my home be swallowed by
Yeah,
darkness.
so I feel like, oh, he needs to gain more spell mana. Can he even do that? This turn, you need Flash of Brilliance, right? So again, I could just like hush one of the things that she buffs and probably be fine. But wouldn't I rather just hush it right now? And then you can't buff it all? I think I'm fine. I don't think it really matters. I think technically it is a smarter play to hush the Nami right now. I think that actually is correct. But I think it doesn't really matter. I think it is technically correct.
Let the tide carry you.
So if I hush the Nami, he'd be pushing. He wouldn't have this one attack. You still have this, so he'd be pushing 7. Oh yeah, we're chilling.
Ride the surging tides. Let the tide carry you.
So if we hush the Nami, he wouldn't have gotten this attack, or this attack. So you lost 3, but then I wouldn't have been able to block this with the hush. Yeah, we got him. I mean, yeah, that was a weird decision to make. Because again, if I hush the Nami, I can't block any elusive, but it means every elusive would stay really small guaranteed. And technically, if he had Flash of Brilliance, it might have been a bit scarier. Because then he could have got the refund of the mana and actually leveled up Nami and be able to then start triggering the buff Nami. I think leveled up Nami starts buffing by 2 in 1, right? So he would have then pushed 3 extra damage, which could have put me into potentially like double Get Excited range. So I think it actually might have been correct to immediately hush the Nami. Deep. That's slightly scary. I want to keep my Pantheon then. Honestly, this hand isn't that bad. I mean, I don't really like keeping Zenith Blade, but at the same time, you do need it usually to start getting some damage down. I do like the Mountain Goat into Chain Vest, like one of my favorite openers, even though It's really rare because I only run one chain vest. It's not even like amazing, but just a lot of times they have a blocker for this, and oh, I guess I can just attack this then, right? And then jam him. Yeah, keeping Zenith is kind of troll. I'm down to just do this then. Kind of silly, but it is what it is. Getting a trigger.
You're covered.
We have a chain vest. I'm not really worried about this this goat. We got a trigger here. 3 to 5. We're getting a gem this turn. Next turn I can just like play like Pantheon and like chain vest. Then on my next attack, actually I can attack with this, right?
Protect and strike.
I don't think he wants. I should attack the other way though, like the other way. In case he did want to block with this. I'm actually letting him go deep faster by making this die. I wonder if maybe I don't want that. I just don't know if it matters though, because like next turn I'm playing Pantheon into oh my god, yeah, he's turbo leveling. I probably should have just kept those on the board. I think that's what you're supposed to do. Keep those 1-drops on the board as long as you can. Like if you attack with them, don't even do anything about it.
Isles live through me.
Yeah.
Today we say enough.
Pantheon. Yeah, I think I'll let that die. But I could just like kill. I could just kill the Maokai, couldn't I? There's nothing in his deck that could do anything about that. I don't think. You can play another unit. That doesn't matter. Let me just do this, yeah. Now we do chain vest on Pantheon. Levels him up. And I can do a gem after the level up to get another rated trigger.
Gods, demons, they all must die.
Get rid of his 4 health unit, so the most he can block is 4. Very elusive attack spell. Okay.
Leave, we must.
Seems pretty good to me. Got another gem. It's kinda just too easy. Oh no, we're deep. He basically has to kill me right here, right? I mean, he could have like vengeance plus something, something. He already used 1 Vial piece, so he'd have to have vengeance plus another Vial piece. I think is the only thing they have. I guess at this point I can just stun this dude. I could just block it. It's not the end, like it's not that big of a deal. Actually, yeah, maybe getting rid of my Pantheon's kind of bad. In case what I said is true next turn. I'll put this onto this one, I guess. Oh, it doesn't really matter, right? Because he's gonna just block it. I mean, I guess I'll basically just send this in. But it's enough.
Sides one.
It is elusive. And spell shield. And we have more buffs. I guess I should have gemmed first. In case he has like whale or something. Yeah, spell shield did it. Nice. Let's go. Pantheon is too good. Holy shit. This is gonna make the freest little bit of climb any think ever. I don't even think I need that much LP to be top 700. Oh, I was muted. Definitely scary that they have Irelia, Azir, because Ione is really good against decks like mine that want to just have like big units. They can just like concussive palm them. The kind of good news though is that White Flame and Dragons were generally good against. They were generally good against Irelia Azir because they have so many little pings, and the dragon can just get really big off eating them. I think I just pass and play Goat. Because he doesn't have a 1-drop, I'm not really scared of damage right here. I think I play Goat next turn into attack, and whatever he plays probably won't want to defend this attack. I'll probably get a free gem that I can use this turn. Okay, he does that. That's a good unit. I thought they'd have, a lot of times they have like these 1-attack units, I think. It kind of sucks because now I can't trigger it this turn. You could just do 2 damage here, I guess. That's fine by me. I'll play the dragon. What the frick? The only thing I can think of is he's gonna write off calling it. I'm so scared. I was like, is he gonna like... I was like thinking if he had like Desert Duel or some weird shit, but he can't, right? It's only 2 mana. That scared me. I was like, is he gonna kill my shit? Yeah, that's the only thing that makes sense is right off calling on that. That got me scared. I was like, oh dude, am I gonna die? I was like, why do you play that after the attack? Like you should just I guess he was gonna sacrifice anyways. Let's hit him with the Yuumi. I can still play the 1-drop if I have to, or I will play the 1-drop actually for sure. Because if I play the 1-drop, then next turn I can Concerted Strike to trigger the effect of it. I might as well just have 2 units, right? He's gonna have a lot of different little pings, I think. Yeah, we triggered 3 times this round, so we'll level up on turn 7 earliest if we want. I'm gonna just pass. If he wants to make us not trigger this turn, probably fine. Okay, maybe I should have went for the immediate I was wondering if I should kill this. I guess I kill this though. I was wondering if I should like just immediately smoke the Azir so he wouldn't get this thing. And that would be smaller, I guess, at that point. Oh, I mean, that's fine, right? We still just eat this.
Stand down.
I really want Zenith Blade.
It is time. Together, stranger.
Yeah, I think we're chilling. Yeah, dragons are really good against all these little things. You could have concussive palm. Should be kind of annoying.
By my spear, the gods will know war.
No mercy for those who desecrate
So this and this definitely go through.
Take well to intruders.
He can't not block this, I don't think, right? He has to do some action first before I commit a spell. I kind of want to kill this. Oh my god, he actually... Okay, I guess I technically wasted a trigger then. But whatever. I guess I technically wasted 2 damage. But I don't know why he didn't block this 13 attack. Oh, okay.
Your emperor commands.
So my Pantheon levels up next turn, and I'm just gonna kill the Irelia, I think, and just win the game at that point. You think she'll level up? Like if I get, like let's say if I get rid of this Azir, right? Then he only gets 2 things, and then she's 7 away, and she'll only get 2 right here. I think that's fine, right? I think that's fine.
I will make the gods remember this day.
And if he has like a deny or something again, or homecoming, we have single. We got scout and elusive. Holy crap! And fury.
Why do you fight?
It's too easy. Fury on against all these little pings. Yeah, I mean, go ahead.
Shurima's legacy will endure.
We Ionians always remember those who came before
Go
us.
ahead. Attack. That's a surrender, isn't it, usually? Okay. So, we have scout, so I think we can go for just the win right here.
We must.
And see if he has a concussive palm. Nice. Or a homecoming. Homecoming we could beat with single combat. And if he has concussive palm, I think we could still win by playing other units out and then putting like overwhelm onto them. This deck is just broken. Okay, we got some Viego. At least it isn't Viego with Ionia, and they have like the stuns. That would be quite annoying. Okay, can't do anything.
Gently.
He can, that's not good.
When we look ahead, we know how to prepare.
I think I'm supposed to take that damage.
Watch your head.
Because if I don't, and I play this, I don't get a trigger this turn anyways. And then I play this dragon, I can't even do anything with the dragon.
We love it when they run.
I was gonna say, do we messed up if he just like played the 5 cost I couldn't attack? Oh, like the Waking Sands? That would have screwed up my attack. Okay, you can't develop here. Okay, well, I think I always do this, right?
Got your back.
And yeah, trigger this turn. I don't think he wants many things to die until he plays Viego. He might be saving this for his Viego turn as well.
Observe the price of ambition.
Okay, now I guess he can just kill that thing for free then. What is he gonna do? Is he gonna attack with only this? Or this? You can honestly drag this, sack this, kill this, and keep it alive and push 9. Which I don't really like. See if he does that. I probably gave him too long to think about it, and now he knows to do it now. Okay, nice. I honestly think that's like a pretty good play. Killing 1 unit and pushing 9 seems really good there, in my opinion. Killing a 1 drop. So I think it's probably Zenith Blade. We'll probably go for the Yuumi as well.
I do this for her, for us.
We're off on a new adventure.
It's not
So
safe.
pushing 5 here.
Surrender to me.
Maybe I should have played the Saga Seeker. Hey, he can't vengeance me, so I think what I'm just doing. He could push a lot. He could push 12 here. I think I do just kill it though. I don't think I die here. And I don't want him to be able to use Rite of Negation next turn to stop me. Cause he just, I don't know. I think this is fine. I think I take a lot. I take 13 or whatever it is. 12. Unless he's still scared to attack with everything. He would have just won the game if he attacked last. I'm pretty sure he would have just won. I mean, I would have been forced to play stuff. Like I would have played other units and had to sack them. So it's not like he would have guaranteed one. But yeah. Oh, again, he could vengeance me. So I think to play around that, we will also play this Pantheon.
We were never fated to bow.
And because then if he vengeances me, that's all he can do. Okay. So now we probably just this is fine. This, mind you, this attacks. How much could we do? He'd have to block with this. And we'd be pushing 6, right? If we do sharp side, we're pushing 2 more. We do 8. We got 3. I think we risk it and see if we can get some good keywords then. On Panth. We get like Scout, and then lose it, we win the game.
No more demons.
That's fine. Yeah, those are lit. Those are lit. Basically has to block with this. Oh, he's still dead. Let's go. Pantheon, man. Man, I love Pantheon so much, but it's fucking... it does kind of make sense why people are like tilting at Pantheon. Because those weren't even like the best keywords I could have gotten. It was still just, still just cracked. Ooh, more scouts. Another free win. Oh, maybe not. Need some units, please, 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 please. No! Oh, no, 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 not like this. It's okay. We'll just top deck perfectly, right? Because we wouldn't be able to play unit here anyways, probably, like, so we're just fine. Everything's going according to plan. Now we have goat. See?
I sculpt what others only dream of.
They can't attack there, I don't think. We need to keep our things alive.
Now that's a bit better. Left them a long way from the flying
That's so good for me. Holy shit. I think he thought he was getting the advantage because he was burning away my trigger. But this is so good for me. Oh my god. Oh my god. Okay, I knew he wouldn't probably block that. Now I can take advantage of my barrier and get a free kill. I guess I could have done this first and then attack, but then he could always just block with that, and then it's like now my thing's at 1 health. I don't think he cares about the health of this unit, but my health kind of does matter. I need to keep all my things alive. I mean, that gets rid of his scout attack, right? I mean, that's not even good. Maybe this guy's trolling. Unless he has rally? This only makes sense if you have golden aegis. Even if you have golden aegis, I'm just going to I'm just gonna make barrier. I triggered this turn, so I'm fine. You might still golden aegis. No? He's just... I mean, again, his scout attack wasn't good, so he couldn't really do it anyways, to be fair. But, like, he's just not doing, like, any damage to me. Like, I don't know. I think this is really good for me personally. I guess I should try to save this barrier for defense if possible. As if he got this as well. I mean, he can't summon it now. He can't really develop, right? So I'm free to kind of do whatever I want. I think I go for a gem on this thing.
Bleed, we must.
Go for an attack. He probably wants to sack this thing. Yeah.
More interesting. Hold still.
Like honestly, I don't even know if I want to give him the board space. Okay. So let's see he attacks next turn, right? Well, I think I'm fine. I don't think I need to do anything weird. Like if he scout attacks even as well, I'm fine.
I'll defend these forests to the end.
Yeah, I think I just the issue is that like now he can just drag that. So like if I just stun that thing, is it better? Yeah, maybe. It's probably better.
Always forward.
Then I kill that thing with goat. Kill one of these things.
This.
That looks good to me.
Cursed relics.
And I barrier. He gets greedy and plays Waking Sands, which is so silly that he even has that.
I must reach the king.
Oh, you know that onto that is kind of nuts.
I've got your back.
But if he does that, he's out of mana. Okay. Sure. I'll just level up my Pantheon. Hopefully get Lydia-ass keywords. I think I might actually put Bastion so he can't get Spell Shield as one of my keywords. More likely to get like Scout or Elusive. Even though like the Spell Shield doesn't really matter.
Gods, demons.
I just want to get other keywords with it. Got lifesteal, it's kind of just GG now, right? And elusive. Oh, I literally just win. That's so silly. And I could have done this too, like, and just double challenge things and won that way. Holy shit. Pantheon versus Scouts, man. Ooh. Ziggs Taliyah. Sorry, I'm like really sick still. I'm gonna keep coughing stuff.
I've never
Damn
tried
it.
this chemical before. I've got it.
You got 3 fucking Yuumis. Three Yuumis. I like that. I really need that one drop. Do they run Shapestone or anything? Oh, he just doesn't care if this dies. I don't want to block this one though because, well, first of all, I'll take more damage the other way. Plus I can actually kill that thing with the Yuumi spell, which I don't know what else to do with this Yuumi spell. I feel like it just makes the most sense. Kind of insane that he just takes 7 there. I can't even understand that. We can play this. We're at 3, or at 2. We can be at 3 and 5. So yeah, we're doing okay. We started triggering on 3, right? They'll be turn 7. So I think this is where I go like this. Let's do it. Oh my god, it doesn't have I'm trolling. It doesn't have faded. For some reason I thought it was faded. Bruh. I'm actually just trolling.
We were never fated to bow.
At least playing this makes his attack kind of bad. Oh, that's not good. Oh, that's not good. I didn't even think about the stun. Oh my god. Okay, I'm actually just dead. That is incredibly scary. I can't even like trigger this turn. Oh my god. Someone please save me. I can kill that thing with the second Yuumi. I can simply like block that one. Oh god. I mean, at least his board's full. They can't like play like Taliyah on the copying that. As of right now, I like block. I block this, block this.
History is whatever.
Oh my god, that's so bad, that's so bad, that's so bad, that's so bad. Oh no, no, no.
Hey, wake up, you hammer!
That's so busted.
Get him!
That's so fucking busted.
I stand this day, a man against
I can hush my own Pantheon to get it out of the stun.
Remember this.
There you go. I'm technically not dead. Like if a single landmark is destroyed now, I lose the game.
Did somebody say explosives?
They will know.
Wow. 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 I don't even know what to say about that game. I like tuned in because I really want to qualify, and plus I'm kind of sick. But wow, that's kind of that's kind of insane. No, Lurk, this is my game. I need to get into fucking to qualify. Man. Honestly, I really like keeping Pantheon because when you double draw it, you get the stun. I think it's important. I think you want to keep Pantheon in the Mulligan and against Lurk. The other good news is that I'm attacking on odds, so he can't like fuck me up because he can't attack here. And sometimes it makes them want to attack right now before I play anything, and then they only get 3 damage now. He's gonna fucking get Rek'Sai, right? I think my best chance is to get into this dragon and start furying. I don't know how else I'm gonna compete with all the lurkers. Okay, he's not that wide right now. Is very good, and I can barrier now. And he has to attack. Okay, this game is actually potentially winnable. I started proccing on turn 3, which is kind of scary, but we can level up on turn 7. Yeah, he had to stop. He couldn't even. He didn't want to do that attack. Hush will be very good soon as well. I think I want to keep one thing back, but I'm down to get this this gem. Okay, he's probably into the stinkfish, the 2-drop. Yep. Another Rek'Sai, which is scary.
I'll stop you.
We're gonna want to play the Pantheon next turn. Do I try to heal this thing up? I can put it to 5, and then I can heal it 2 if he doesn't Rek'Sai again. Or I can just make this trade. I think I'm down with that. Like maybe I was supposed to put it on this, and cause I could then maybe survive an attack if it goes up to 7 only. I think I can beat a pike as well, which is pretty good. It only attacks with this. I'm down to just take whatever the 1 is.
Cast off your fear and stand as one. Stand up.
I have to trigger this turn anyway, so I guess I do this. Even though it kind of sucks, it doesn't really do anything. It doesn't actually kill the unit. Let's see what I get. Kind of a bad trigger, doesn't give me any attack, but maybe get some really good keywords.
Remember this day. They will know.
Scout elusive, baby. Scout elusive lifesteal, baby. And I have spell shield.
Together, stranger.
Oh, I guess I didn't need to block that because I'm life stealing enemies off here, aren't I?
Must.
Let's go. We beat fucking Lurk. I think that means I qualified for the seasonal.
Today we stood firm and said no more.
Yeah, that should be enough. Let's see. Yeah, it's not incredibly safe, but I mean, I think it's good enough. I'm really sick anyway, so I think like I just have to risk it. I might check like an hour before if I'm still up, and if I'm somehow below 700, then maybe I'll play and risk a couple games. But I'm probably just gonna go to sleep because I feel like shit. Goodbye.